Thank you for the clap. Well, if you haven't met me, my name's Mark, and in my work, I do get to coach some of the most elite athletes on the planet and the most incredible, interesting businessmen and these amazing people. And what I'm looking to do is get all the components available to them and make sure they match so that they just skyrocket. And then one day I get a call from a guy called Tansel. And Tansel's into memory. And my first thought was, that doesn't sound very cool.
Whoa. Not cool? Come on.
Not cool, Tansel.
Now, here's an idea worth spreading. Okay. I was invited to speak at a conference one day, and from the corner of my eye, I see this gorgeous young lady. So I walk up to her and, "G'day, how you going?" And got chatting a bit, and I got a phone number. Yes. Anyway, I gave her a call 4 months later. You see, I memorised her number then and there. I was like, yeah. And, went out a few times after that, and she ended up becoming my wife. Now, remembering a gorgeous young lady's phone number, I think that's pretty damn cool.
So at this point, Tansel had my attention, and I continued to chat to him a little bit, and we swapped some stories, and I started to realise that Tansel's one of those people who tapped into what I call their freak ability. And that is the space where your passion has been mixed with a strategy, and then you've applied yourself and put the two together to bring out what you're really capable of. And the rest of us, humble population, do have the same qualities, except we usually apply them to more humble goals. And you've probably had that experience in your own life. When you get home from work, and you collapse down on the couch, and you sit down and you look around, and the remote control is too far away. And it just breaks you. You're like, oh. Now at this point, we have some options. Now, you might get lucky and find something long, and you're like, I reckon I can reach that. And you start to scratch around, or it's on the table and you just drag, or, like for me, I used to call my sister. I'd be like, Tanya! And Tanya would come flying in. I'd be like, can you get the remote? Now that's strategy. But there's other times when you've actually got passion, when you're sitting there and there's nothing good on television, but somebody else in the other room, hey, that show's on. And you're like, nah, it's not. And they're like, it is. And you're like, and you jump up and you like, click. And you find a way because either it was enough drive because it was worth it, or two, the other option is you've got the strategy. Now, when you've got both of those together, you get a really potent mix. So potent that Tansel took it to a whole new level when he memorised the entire yellow pages.
Now, it's funny you mention that. You see, there was a time basically where I was robotic. I was working 2 jobs. I was trying to run my own business. I was studying part-time, double masters. I had a family to feed, and I also had a chronic health condition as well, where I'd been hospitalised twice, with the first time doctor telling me, look, if you didn't come in on the Friday, it would have been too late. Yeah. So what did you want again? So he said to say casually, thanks, doc. Yeah, great. And so at that point at work, I was really stressed and busy. I received a phone call from a PR company, and they said, Tansel, we want you to memorise a phone book. I started laughing. I said, yeah, right, a phone book? You got to be kidding me. And they weren't kidding. So I said, okay, I'm doing this. They also wanted to test me live on TV to be, the whole phone book to be memorised in 30 days, by the way, and with all 20,000 digits. And I said, look, no one else is probably crazy enough, so I'll do it. So I decided to memorise the yellow pages.
Now, whenever I get to work with some incredible people, I tend to find patterns, and that's what I'm always looking to flush out. And typically I find that this is a bit of a consistency, is that you've already got an area of passion, and then some opportunity comes along, and then a deadline comes along, and then suddenly something brilliant is born. And even if you look at the issues we're talking about here, there is a bit of a crisis, but there's an area of passion, and then there's opportunity, and now there's a deadline that's coming. And brilliance is born. However, you also need a damn good strategy. So Tansel took a volume of information, and he managed to memorise it in a period that previously would have taken 6 months, and he did it in 20 days. So you need a new strategy under the circumstances. So what was the strategy?
The strategies I had were 2 things, really. One was to visualise an image for the business name, and 2 was to remember the number, of course, and make a story from that. So I'll give you an example. Let's say we need to remember the business name Ted's Plumbing. Okay, we'll use Ted for example. And I'd imagine a Ted I already know, and I'd picture Ted sort of sitting down, plumbing away, and plumber's crack. And So that was my image for Ted's Plumbing. The second, I had to remember the number. And I used the system where I translate numbers into stories. So 9 could be wine, 2 was shoe, 4 was door, so I'd made them rhyme. Okay, so how would I remember Ted's Plumbing? Here's Ted, that I know, sitting down, plumbing, and let's say the number started with 2. Okay, 2 would rhyme with shoe, so instead of having some sort of a hammer or whatever, he's got a shoe in his hand and he's working away. Or, even better, instead of using a shoe, what else does shoe rhyme with? Yeah, poo. So you could use that. So that was my associations, and that's how I memorised the yellow pages.
So and once we get these really good strategies and then you get passion, you get some incredible things. Now, it's all very good to talk about this stuff, but because we've got a memory guru here, what we want to do is experience it. So what we want to do is we're just going to do a little bit of a demo right now. So we've got some volunteers that we've already pre-tapped on the shoulder. If you want to come up right now and just stand in front of one of these chairs. Now, Tansel, roughly how many things can we remember?
About 20,000.
Yeah, but I mean for now.
Oh, now, okay. We'll see. But people can generally memorise about, 7 plus or minus 7 items. So we'll go for about, 8 people?
So generally the rule is 7 items you can remember plus or minus 1. That's why numbers about 8. So we've got 8 people here. Thanks for coming on board.
Yep, now I'll get you to shuffle the cards.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
It's like, and we've got no need to trick you, so they're all the same card.
This is going to be tough.
I told you, if we give it to these guys, see, exactly.
That's great enough, yeah. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll hand a card each to our lovely volunteers, and I'll memorise them as I go along. And just to make it a bit more challenging for everyone, and you can do it as well, see if you can be distracted by the story that I make up. Okay, so I'll take it from the top here. I'll grab your name before Pam. Okay, that's 5 of diamonds. Okay, and I'm going to make a story with Pam and say 5 of diamonds. So, do you play with dolls, Pam? Or you like dolls? No, so picture Pam playing in a beautiful dollhouse, nice pink one. Okay, lovely. Your name, sir? Charlie? I could just read the name tags, can't I? Charlie, now Charlie loves The Simpsons. Do you love The Simpsons? Yeah, he loves it, and in fact he loves it so much he's dressed up as Homer Simpson walking around the TED complex. So remember that? Who we've got? Irina. I'll get you to say the name. Irina is getting very tired at the moment, so picture her sitting on the seat, okay, because she's really tired and wobbly feet. Okay, and we've got here Guy. Now Guy, he's a very nice man, but he's got a king of clubs and he's swinging a bat around so people can't get close to him. Okay, he's got a baseball bat in his hand. Okay, and here we've got Cameron, and he's holding the 8 of diamonds. Now, 8 of diamonds, I'm going to make a story with Daffy Duck. Now, Cameron doesn't like Daffy Duck, so he's strangling Daffy Duck, okay, and he's screaming his head off. Done. Here we have Bob. Now, Bob's holding 3 of diamonds. There we go. Now, Bob's running inside one of those big, huge domes, you know, the ones that mouse run in, but you know, picture Bob running inside them as well. Yeah, can you see that? They're all going, no, we can't. And who are we going to have here? Emma. Now, Emma, do you like kittens?
I love kittens.
Love kittens. Well, there you go. So we could picture her holding kittens and coming around to people and saying, look, this is what the zoo is offering, and so forth. So, well done. Are you doing that? And finally, who do we have here? Michael. Now, Michael is a rally driver, race car driver. So if you don't know, he's got the lanyard saying race car driver. And you can picture him sort of parking out the front there, you know, walking like a rock star. So that's Michael. So let's go through quickly with the stories again. So we've got Pam here, and she loves her dollhouse. We've got Charlie. I knew that, by the way. Testing your memory. Homer Simpson. Okay, and we've got Irina, and she's sitting on a seat pretty soon. We've got Guy here, he's whacking everyone with a club, and don't get next to me. We've got Cameron here, he's Daffy Duck, strangling Daffy Duck. We've got Bob, and he's running inside the dome. Turn around this way. We've got Emma, she loves kittens. And we've got Michael, Daytona car, or a rally car, so he's just parked out the front there.
All right, so it's plausible that you by now should be able to remember those 8 cards, right? It's already you're stretched. But we'll just see how we're going, right? Like 8 is reasonable to remember. So you can try to do it. You can't use your iPhones, you can't take photos. Feel like you want to write it down, it's cheating, but try. And then what we want to do now though, Tansel, can we do another 8?
Did we prepare for this?
You said you'd do 20,000, we're going to do 16, you'll be all right.
All right, let's do this, okay. Unscripted. Here we go. So I'm going to give another card, so you can hold it up. And that's Jack of Diamonds. So you're remembering at this time as well, okay? So I'm going to continue the story on. So nice little dollhouse. But here in the dollhouse, it opens it up and there's Tweety in there. Anyone know Tweety from the cartoons? Yeah, there's a little Tweety bird in the dollhouse, okay? And we've got Charlie, Homer Simpson, and then suddenly Homer Simpson runs into the Matrix, Keanu Reeves, and they're having a fight and Homer wins out, of course. as you would. And Arena, she's sitting on the seat, right? But what happens, the seat's got all this money on it, so she's putting all this money in her pockets. There we go. So here, guys, he's got the club, he's about to club everyone, and suddenly there's a cat there, and the cat comes up and scratches guys. Said, "Don't club my friends." There we go. And here, Cameron, Daffy Duck, is squeezing really hard, and then suddenly Daffy Duck grabs his underwear, puts it over his head. There you go.
Ouch.
Ouch, yep.
Could sit in your
3 of
face,
diamonds, so we've got Bob here running in the dome, but he's running inside the dome, and Miss Olympia comes and saves him out of there. She's wearing the sash, Miss Olympia, yeah. And he's loving it, of course. And here we've got Emma. She's loving kittens, and she's loving them so much that she's feeding them honey. Because kittens love honey, yeah? Of course. And here the Daytona driver, Michael, now he's parked his car out the front, and he comes out, he's wearing one of those cool hats, and it's like one of those cowboy hats, and he's walking around like a superstar. Okay, so yeah, is that enough?
That's good, yeah, all good.
Everyone happy with 20?
Okay, that's
Cool.
16.
But yeah.
18, 16.
Memory guy.
What are you doing? Yeah. So funny because he couldn't even find his keys yesterday. But, all right, so you got those locked in. You've got a chance just to memorise those. So it's not reasonable for you, if you just to recall them now, it's too easy. So you've got a minute to sit down. Okay, you guys can sit down. Keep the cards up for just a little bit, just so people that are on it are actually doing it. In the meantime, we just want to give you we've got a quick opportunity just to introduce you to what your freak talent might be. And in my experience, when I'm looking for a talent, this is what we're pretty much looking for. It has got 2 key characteristics. First, it's the thing that you do with such ease that you can do it all day. And the thing is that because you do it with such ease, you value it the least out of anything that you do. You just go, that couldn't be my talent. No, that's too easy. And what happens is we lose it because we're starting to look for a commercial genre or an established genre for our talent to fit into. But if you think about Tansel's experience, it wasn't like he was looking for the career guide, going through, and down there it said, Grandmaster of Memory and consultant and memorised yellow pages. Bang, that's my career. Like, that's not what happened. He had a little passion, and it started to grow. The talents that you're going to have are the things that you really just don't realise. For example, many of you are brilliant at getting stuff done last minute. You're amazing at it. You just get huge amounts done, but you beat yourself up for doing it. But the truth is, you're a natural-born last-minute person. Some of you are so good at organising stuff. You go out and hang your clothes on the washing line, and every peg is colour matched to whatever it needs to be, right? And there's a few people saying, I've done that, all right? Some of you are freaks. You can just see weather patterns. You look at, you know what's going to happen. You just understand it. Some of you can just go, when you're farming, you can look at land and you go, you know what, if you put this microbe thing in there and you put that over there and you did that, you have this incredible, you just get it. It makes sense to you. It's effortless because it's so easy you don't value it. But the question is, how is it that we are not noticing raw talent? Well, one of the main things is we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. We're trying to look at what is cool and can I be cool? And it's like this scale. Top of the scale, cool, Joneses, brilliant, talented. Bottom of the scale, loser. And everybody's looking, trying to work out where we fit in. And every social group has got set rules, and we're trying too hard to fit into the rules, then let go. We know this, right? But there's silly things like this. For example, if I had, you can put those cards down, I'm sorry. If I was walking like this, I have my pants up like this, right? And I'm walking and I'm saying the same thing. Now, I can be a genius and I can have all sorts of fancy things on my resume. I can say some interesting stuff. But the whole time you're thinking, mate, check out the pants. You can't let it go. Or what if I had my collar just tucked like that, the whole presentation? And someone says, what did you think of the presentation? You go, I just wish he would have fixed his collar. We just find it hard to let go of these things. Or think about this. You've gone for a picnic with the family, or you're out at sporting, or wherever, or your kids at school if you're younger, and you've got your juice box. You call them poppers here in Sydney, New South Wales, and you put a little straw in. Socially acceptable. But you go to a party on the weekend. Rules change. You turn up and they're like, oh, so glad you're here. What are you drinking? You go, mate, I got a slab of juice box. And people are like, you're an idiot. What are you doing? And you're like, mate, this is like 100% juice, right? And you can be committed to it, but there's a social rules that go, now this is the way we do it. Now they're only subtle, but there's more established ones too. There's much bigger ones. You look even in the farming industry we're talking about today. We look across at the farm next door and we go, that's how they do it, and that's how they do it. I better do it like that too. We sometimes don't realise that we're checking in with people, not just the farming industry, every industry. Students check in with their friends. Have you started the assignment? Have you started it? They don't know. They're checking in with Dumb and Dumber to find out whether or not I should be doing it like that. So what we actually want, the challenge here is that we're accidentally moving towards what's called perceived success. It looks successful, it looks like you're the happy family, it looks like you can afford the car, it looks like you've got a great business operation, but it's not authentic. And authentic success is when you grow into all that you're capable of. You really go, what am I? What are all the components? Can I maximise them? And can I do that while I'm maximising my relationships with the people around me and the community around me? Because doing it on your own is not fulfilling. And so what we want to start to do is just two simple things. You want to start noticing what you love doing. Just notice and allow it in your life. Give it time. You just allow it. Just go, I enjoy doing this. I'm going to do it for a while. And when you give it time and then you resource it, whatever you need, maybe you need a new pair of runners to go running, or maybe you need a new t-shirt, or maybe you need a new spade. You give it something basic and you resource it, you start smiling. And when you smile, everybody around you starts to glow. You know that when you're family, if you've had a great day, you've got this little energy and you're kicking your step, and you walk in the house and you can't help but give it to your peers. And they go, what's going on with you? And they smile too. It's a social rule. In living into your ability, you naturally fuel the people around you, and it's a sustainable human energy. But it's got to be what you love. So you need to use loving what you do and doing that as your navigation system. If it's hard, it's not the way, even though that's what we've been taught. But that's like a perceived strategy, not an authentic strategy. Now, with those things in mind, you have had time to be delayed, and now it's time for you to recall. So, I'm presuming you can all recall the cards at this point?
Yes, no?
that's the spirit.
Let's have a look. So if we all want to
so keep the cards face down, don't show him because he'll cheat at a heartbeat.
Okay, so let's start from the start here. Now, I'm thinking I'm going to recall the cards. It might be a bit too easy, so I might get you guys to do it as well. So do you remember the story that was going on here? Yeah, there was a dollhouse, yeah. And what else? Yeah, so we've got 5 of diamonds and Jack of diamonds. So if you can just hold them up. Yep, and you can clap if you want, by the way, so I get it wrong. Yeah. If you want, no, it's totally up to you. Okay, and do you remember the story that was going on here? Homer Simpson, yeah, and then what else? Matrix, yeah, so we've got 3 of hearts and Jack of clubs. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't feel like clapping that time either.
No, not that time. Okay, so here. Yeah.
Sitting.
So ace of spades, 6 of clubs. Yeah. And then here we've got.
It's starting to get impressive
It's
now.
starting to get impressive now, yeah.
It's not bad.
Okay, the story here. Yeah, so we've got clubs, so king of clubs and an ace of clubs. Yeah. Hold that up. Now what's the story here? Yeah, well done. 8 of diamonds.
Security to section 5, security.
8 of diamonds, and what else was happening in the story? The underwear over the top of the head, so we've got 2 of diamonds. So 8 of diamonds, 2 of diamonds, well done. And here, what was the story here with Bob? It was, yeah, so 3 of diamonds and 2 of spades. Yeah, so we can hold that up. 6 of spades. Loser. All right, and here, the story that, do you remember that one? Yeah, kittens, so queen of clubs, and then 2 of hearts. Yep, and the final one with the cool dude. Yep, so queen of diamonds and Ace of Hearts, and that's it.
Now, knowing Tansel, that your brain can do a bit more than that, what else did you remember?
Okay, well, I remembered that Irina here sitting down when she wanted to sit on the seat, picked up cash. She actually had light boots on, and she was in white. I also noticed that the guy behind me in the brown jacket, it was Guy. He had a blue shirt as well. And also the other one with the Daffy Duck, he had sort of checkered top on, which was black. And I also noticed that Pam, right, the first up, she had a blue top and a little badge here as well on the side. On the left, sort of in black as well. And the Rockstar driver had a brown top with a little orange strip across as well, so which was Michael.
Good job, good job. And was there anything else, just knowing your brain, or not?
There probably was, but yeah, I forgot.
That's the spirit. So, thank you. You guys can take a seat and give him a clap, everybody.
Yeah. So, thank you. So the reason behind this, right? It's great remembering cards, right? It looks impressive, but even more impressive is to remember a person, isn't it? Now, when we do remember a name, it becomes important. People feel valued. And when that happens, you start having that rapport, relationship, and then people just feel like they're, that they're important in society. Yeah? So the most challenging thing for me was to remember numbers at one stage. Now I can do it easily. I've actually met my wife through it, and that's probably been one of my greatest experiences. By remembering a number, making her feel important, and hitting it off. So if you live into what you're capable of, you can pretty much make a difference in other people's lives as well.
Look, we don't know what your natural born talents are. All we know, there are things that you know that make you smile. And that's what you need to move towards, because you can do them all day, every day. It's just sustainable. And then you need to resource them, but also you need to do that in the people around you. There's things that your peers love doing, your kids love doing, your family love doing. And don't make them just look busy or look rich or look a certain way. Have them have a legitimate smile on their face. And if you do that, then they and you might be able to also live like freaks. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you.